so you're going to get to hear the little intro. I've had some of you. I've not had some of you. So I'm Miss Cooper. I teach art and graphic design here, and I obviously have a little bit of a background in art. I'm going to go over with you guys today a little bit about Johannes Vermeer, who is the painter who painted Girl with the Pearl Earring, and Tracy Chevalier, who is the author of Girl with the Pearl Earring. She was obviously inspired by his painting. She utilizes a lot of his paintings, many of his paintings, in her book, and she draws comparisons, and she kind of plays these situations out of the different paintings that she sees from Johannes Vermeer, okay? At the end of this whole thing, I'm fairly certain Mr. Clarkson is giving you guys an assignment in where you're kind of drawing comparison upon Tracy Chevalier and the word imagery that she uses, and then the visual imagery Johannes Vermeer uses in his paintings. Best way I can help you guys today is that as I'm kind of going through and speaking about him, I want you guys to think of this. When you're doing a comparison paper, if you kind of compare some different, I guess you would say, here's Tracy Chevalier, and she is what to Girl with the Pearl Earring? Thank you, the author. And then you have Johannes Vermeer, and he is what to Girl with the Pearl Earring? The painter. Or, yes, you know, and so what are they as far as, like, creators? This person against this person, what their role was against what his role was, what her book ended up being, what his painting ended up being. And that way, if you guys can kind of, by the end of this period, tack in a couple, like, concrete ideas on each of those sides, you should have some good material to draw upon for your comparison paper, if that's the direction that it goes in. I'm pretty sure that's the direction it goes in, okay? So today we're just going to talk about perspective and mood. I'm going to show you some of his stuff, and then I also put up on my website some information for you guys, which you can go to later, and then apparently this whole thing will be on YouTube. Hi, other classes. I did not record theirs. I did not want to do it 3 times. Okay. Really? So touchy. All right. If you guys can look very carefully in this one, the idea of perspective is kind of like, where is somebody coming from? If I say, well, that's your perspective or that's your perspective, everybody has a different perspective or angle. It's another way of kind of saying your point of view. When we literally break down point of view visually for Johannes Vermeer in this painting is very interesting. Johannes Vermeer's painting, this one here, this is not something that Tracy Chevalier talks about, but it's important as the non-fictional Johannes Vermeer that I get this across to you guys. He supposedly here is in like kind of a closet. There's an obstructed wall here, there's another wall here, and then you have this kind of swoop of fabric across there. He's in something, where he's at, is it dark or light? Dark. Where they are, it's light, which tells you he can see them, but they what? They cannot see him. It puts him in kind of this, I'm seeing what I'm not supposed to see perspective. I'm in control. I can see them, and I can control that, but they cannot see me, and I can control that. Okay? I also think he's just a creeper in this one. That would be very weird. It makes me think a little bit, my parents' house, they live in this big lot, and they have all these woods around their house. And for whatever reason, their whole back is all windows. There's no window treatments up. And so at night alone, if I ever go over and dog sit on the weekends, you have any lights on, outside it's pitch black, and it's like a lit up house with all windows. And I'm like, oh, that's just weird. People could be in the woods. They could see inside. And so you're always like, I think I'll turn the lights off so that people can't see. Or you put an outside light on so that you can see out as well. Okay? So just kind of take an idea here of like the perspective of kind of control and where he's at, and keep that idea of control kind of in mind. Johannes Vermeer is from Delft, which is, he was a Dutch painter, Delft being where, when we say Dutch, we mean the Netherlands. Good. This gives you an idea of a painting he did called View of Delft. Okay. It gives you an idea of what, you know, what it looked like, what the time frame was, so you're not seeing like Volkswagens and highways and planes flying through the air, skyscrapers. This is 400 years ago, okay? He was born, I want to say like 1632, okay? He painted in a time where you're making your own paint. You're not going to Michael's to get your paint out of a tube. You're physically taking different flowers and minerals and rock and material and working with oils, linseed oils, and different suspenders, and you're mixing them together and you're creating pigments that way, okay? And so the idea of like what he could do with that is phenomenal. Now, interesting fact about Jan Vermeer, he in his whole life of a short, unfortunately, 43 years, only painted between about 30 and 35 paintings, maybe 36. That tells us he painted exceptionally what? Slow. Yes, slow. He painted very, very slowly. He painted and made some money. Did he make profit? No. He painted and worked in Delft his whole life and was not famous, was not recognized, was just your ordinary, he's a painter, he's an artist, but I'm sure was doing other things at the same time. Not a ton of information, okay? We know things through journals left by relatives and different things like that. When he died at age 43, which likely was due to a heart attack caused by anxiety or brought on by anxiety, probably freaking out that he doesn't have money and food to provide for his family, that he isn't good enough, and his paintings haven't, propelled him to some status of, well-known stature in the area. When he died, his wife literally had to take 2 of his paintings to, I believe it was the baker, maybe the butcher, but I think the baker, to settle a bill. So if that tells you anything, can you imagine a parent passing away or a loved one passing away and taking some of their stuff over to the Andersons and being like, this is all I have? And how sad and humbling that may have been for them. Okay, that's better. Sorry, guys.